All right, hey, here we go. Hey, welcome back to Checking It Out with Paco. Hey, you know what? I had an awesome last few days, man. What a wonderful weekend. I had my brother and my sister come out from Washington, and they just came out to bless us, man. They came out just to show us some love, to sow some seed into the people here in Helena. And God put that on their heart, and they're working for God, and they're doing what He has called them to do. And that's what I want to talk to you about over the next several weeks. First of all, this week I want to talk to you about, hey, what are you working for? Where's your heart at? And what are you going to be doing for the Lord? Next week I want to talk to you about false hope. Where are we looking at, and what are we seeing when we look in the mirror? We need to be seeing Christ, and that's most important, first of all. And then I want to talk to you about the power that God wants to release in you. So the next few weeks are going to be off the hook. You don't want to miss one of these. But hey, let's get back to this week. What are you working for? You know, Not so long ago, I got so caught up myself personally in doing the works of my hands. Yeah, I was saved, and yeah, I was loving the Lord with all my heart. And I built houses for a living. And I got so caught up in building my kingdom instead of God's kingdom. See, I was out there working 7 days a week, anywhere from 10 to 15 hours a day. Every job that I got, I thanked the Lord. But it was all about me. It was all about me working. It was all about me building. It was all about me accomplishing the tasks that I had before me that day or that week. Solomon, he got kind of the same way. Man, that guy was a great, fluent person in the kingdom. He, in his land and in his time, he was one of the wealthiest, richest, most knowledgeable people in the land. But it was all at the works of his hand. Sometimes we get like that. Sometimes we get so focused on building our own little kingdoms, on building our own little worlds or our own little houses, that we miss what's really important. And that's building the kingdom of heaven. That's building a house for your Father to live in. That's where our focus should be. Sometimes we get caught up on building our relationships with our boss, or our relationships with the pretty girl walking down the street, or for you ladies, that handsome man. Sometimes that's all we think about. We think about building a better bike. Nothing wrong with that. But we need to be building up God's kingdom first and foremost. Because everything else that we build is in vain if it isn't for the Lord. I was just sitting there the other day telling my wife that when you do something, the word says, do it all unto the Lord. That we should work as we are working for God Himself. That we're not working for me, that we're not working for the boss or the man or whoever it may be. Because if we start working for the man, if we start working for ourselves, it's going to fall apart. It's not going to be enjoyable. It's not going to be pleasing. That's where you get bitter people at the workplace because they don't like their job, because they don't like their boss, or they don't like their coworkers, or you know what? They don't want to submit to authority. And it really starts to crawl under their skin. And after a while, it starts to tear them down instead of build them up. But when you work for the Lord, work for Him as He's your boss, and watch how everything starts to get built up. Watch how everything starts to fall together. Peace in your life, your finances, your relationships, everything will just start to fall in line. See, so we're not necessarily working for this guy over here or that guy over there, but yet we're working for the Lord. And when we're working for the Lord, He takes care of everything else because He loves us so much. And as a good boss wants to keep his employees happy, And he'll do whatever it takes to keep you there and keep you working. So will your Father in heaven. He'll keep you on track. He'll give you days off. He'll give you retirement. He'll give you medical. He'll give you insurance. He'll give you everything you need. See, our insurance and the medical and the retirement and everything like that is the joy and the peace that comes from him. And only he can give that to us. It's our job to accept that gift. Sometimes when we get caught up working for the world, God wants to slow our roll a little bit. And I know this because when I was working so hard in the world, he took me and put me in the wilderness for 7 months. He gave me a job literally up in the mountains, away from society, no phones, no TVs, no nothing. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So I'm telling you, don't work for the world, work for God himself. Do the work of your Father. Reach out and bless somebody. In Ecclesiastes, let me read this to you real quick. In Ecclesiastes 2:10, Solomon's talking here. And it says, I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my work. And this was the reward for all my labor. Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. That's what happens to us. When we work for the things of the world, it's a chasing after the wind. You're never going to catch it. It's pointless and it's meaningless. But when we chase after the things of God and his kingdom, your reward will be so abundant that you won't even be able to describe it, and it's all. So this week, I encourage you, go out and work for the Lord. Don't work for your boss today. Don't work for things of this world, but work for him and watch how much he blesses you. Hey, stop by and check us out next week. I love each and every one of you guys. And as my grandfather always said, vaya con Dios. That means go with God. Be blessed, and we'll catch you next week.